Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ito Speaks back again with another video. And in this video topic, I want to talk about Kevin Durant again and the playoff series that he had against the Boston Celtics in the first round of the NBA playoffs in 2022. Overall, this was a disappointing series to say the least. I still can't believe what I saw from Kevin Durant overall from this series because, again, I pegged him and Giannis as one of the best players in the league right now, and I slightly had Kevin Durant as the best player in the league. For him to go a playoff series in the first round and not get one win and going out and dominating fashion like that was disappointing in my perspective, because he's one of the real talents in the league and he just came up small in the series. When he came to the Boston Celtics, they straight up bullied him. They took his lunch money. They let him know, like, yo, you're not gonna dominate this game. We don't care if we're gonna double team you, triple team you, we're gonna force the ball out your hand. And he looked shell shocked. I've never seen him so spooked like that in his life. He was turning over the ball at a high rate. He was missing shots that he would normally make in his sleep, and he just wasn't good from the field. But the past 4 games that I've seen him, he had atrocious numbers, and on top of that, he's playing 40 plus minutes. And even the last game that he played versus the Boston Celtics, he played 47 minutes. That's almost the whole game. He only had 1 minute of rest, and I guess if you count halftime, but still, that's poor minute. That's poor minute restrictions from Steve Nash part, because you can't have your star player playing that high of minutes if you have to rely on him that much. Now, granted, I know in the last game he dropped 39 points, but that was too little too late. And on top of that, it still wasn't a good game on his part. Yeah, he had 39 points, but he went 13 for 31. That's not a KD type game. KD's normally shooting high 40s, low 50 type game. He's an efficient scorer, to say the least. And the past 4 games that he had, he went 9 for 24 in this game 1. Then he went 4 for 17. And then game 3, he went 6 for 11 shots. And then the 13 for 31. He shot 40 from 3. He went 1 for 5, 1 for 2, 2 for 3. Then he went 3 for 11 in the last game. And I didn't even mention the turnovers that he was averaging. He was averaging almost 5 turnovers a game. I guess because he was dribbling the ball too high, and they were stripping it, because Kevin Durant's a tall guy. He's like, what, 6'10", 6'11"? So when he dribbles the ball on the ISO, the ball tends to be up high, so that's make it more easier to strip. But still, as the best player in the league, I expected him to win this series. I had them winning this series in 6, and I was proven wrong. I also want to give credit to the Boston Celtics because they did play a masterful game. Great coaching from the Boston Celtics team, and great play from players such as Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Marcus Smart. They played an excellent game. And also Al Horford, they also played an excellent game. Don't want to take nothing away from them. They earned those wins fair. And that was a real ugly game from Kevin Durant for what they did to him. Now they're on to the next round to go play Milwaukee, and we're going to see what they're going to do in the next round versus Giannis. So, overall, I saw a lot of sports media debates saying that how this affects Kevin Durant's legacy, and to be honest, it's going to affect his legacy greatly. For a player this season in his age, I think he's like 33, and he's been in the league for almost 10 plus years. He's at the sweet spot right now where he's physically capable of making shots, and he's mentally know where to make his shots. So I don't see what was the excuse. I don't want to hear nothing as regards to the situation with him, Kyrie, Ben Simmons, all that. It's done now. The back and forth that he's going with Charles Barkley and social media fans and Twitter, I think he needs to dead that, because it's over now. You guys lost. Focus on next year. They got to retool this roster. Most likely they're gonna have to, if it was me personally, try to get a new coach, an actual real coach, not a standard coach like Steve Nash. Steve Nash is not a real coach. He's out there making them play street ball with his Kyrie's turn, Kevin Durant's turn, Kyrie's turn, Kevin Durant's turn to get double team, drive a kick to the basket, give it to open shooter or lob to Claxton or Drummond. That's not gonna work. It's gonna work in a regular season. Yeah, you're gonna win games because you still have two talents such as Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and then potentially with Ben Simmons coming back, that could work. But if the shots are not falling, or the defense, you're playing high IQ teams that's gonna lock down defensively, you got to mix it up. You're gonna have to actually have a game plan, and I feel like Steve Nash is just not that guy to be coaching yet. And on top of that, since it was his first 2 seasons of him coaching, I think he did a piss poor job, to say the least, with this roster. And I feel like they should have got a veteran seasoned coach that was going to implement a system for KD and Kyrie to actually play in, because that offense that they're playing is not going to win a championship. I just don't see it at the moment right now. I could be wrong, but we'll later see. But I digress. For Kevin Durant to have this poor of a series, I'm going to have to knock him down a peg, because it would have been one thing if he got knocked off maybe second round or the Eastern Conference Finals. Then you could still make a case, but I can't have Kevin Durant as the best player in the league right now. That has to go to Giannis. And even right now, Giannis could get knocked off if he, for some reason, would have get knocked off by Boston. So who knows? But as of right now, Kevin Durant is not the best player in the league right now. That goes to Giannis, because Giannis is still playing at a superlative level. He hasn't been injured. He played almost the whole season. He was top 3 at MVP running. He could potentially win it along with Jokic and Embiid. So we'll still see who's going to win that award. I still think Jokic is going to win the award. And if not, if Embiid or Jokic would have, if Embiid or Giannis would have win, I wouldn't be up in arms. I feel like all 3 of them deserve to some degree, but it only could go to one. But I believe it's Jokic. But again, I digress. That's another video for another day. But when it comes to Kevin Durant, I had him potentially winning the MVP and contending for a title. They were favorites to win an NBA title this season, and for them to fall flat on their face as regards to how piss poor they played during this first round series versus Boston was disappointing overall. And people had high expectations for this team overall, and then once they traded James Harden because of the whole debacle situation, and then got Ben Simmons, Steph Curry, Andre Drummond, I thought those were good pieces that they could spread around the floor to help get Steph Curry to stretch the court, make shots. They got a interior paint guy with Andre Drummond, and then Ben Simmons was possibly going to be the wild card because he's a tall, lanky, athletic big that could stretch the floor by defending, rebounding, and he was a good passer on top of that. Now his scoring is left to be desired, and he has free throw demons, but I feel like KD and Kyrie was gonna phase that out and not make that as a big factor. But again, he didn't show up for the playoffs, and I made my video as regards to that. I thought it was a cowardly move on his part, but whatever situation that he's going to have to deal with it. But if it continues lingering on as regards to his tenure with Brooklyn, then they're going to have to consider trading him to another team, because this guy is damaged goods at this point if he's not able to play and he's going through the situation that he's going through. But again, Kevin Durant getting knocked off. If he were to have won a championship this season, I probably would have had him maybe top 15 all time, maybe close to top 10 all time. But now after this, he's probably going to be in all-time rankings of maybe top 20 to top 25, especially if the Golden State Warriors would have won a championship this season without him. Then it's going to really look bad on his part, because people are already saying that his rings are cheap. He didn't earn those 2 championship rings, which is not true. He played a great series against the Cleveland Cavaliers when he was there in his 3-year tender. So I don't want to hear nothing about that. But still, it's gonna look bad on his part that Golden State were still able to possibly win a championship, and you try to form your own super team with Kyrie, James Harden, and then you guys still failed. Now back to the drawing board next season, see what you guys could do to better up this roster and build chemistry. That was one of the things that this team lacked, was chemistry and defensive grit. None of the teams wanted to defend, but that falls down to leadership on Kevin Durant, because he's the leader of this team, and Kyrie Irving is the co-leader of this team. So if you two guys are not playing defense, then that's going to trickle down to the rest of the team, and they're not going to want to defend either, because there's always so much defensive pressure on them to guard their man. But if you're not guarding your man as well, then what you want them to do? They can't guard two people at the same time. So again, retool the roster, fire the head coach, and then let's see where we're going from there. I don't want to hear nothing about giving Steve Nash another chance. I feel like he's a bad coach. He didn't deserve this opportunity. I feel like he got his blessings from Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving to coach this team, because he was a figurehead. He's just a puppet for the teams, for Kyrie and Durant, so that way they could just go on the floor and play. But these guys, they need a real coach that orchestrate a real system that's going to provide structure for them, so that way when things are going bad, they could go back to a framework and use that to play their game the right way, not the street ball that he was playing when he was with OKC, etc. But again, I don't see how Kevin Durant was going to possibly bounce back from this, because of everything that's going on with Ben Simmons, Kyrie Irving shenanigans with the vaccine. We don't know if that might come back or go away. So that's always a possible thing looming. And on top of that, Kevin Durant is 33. He's getting older, and he's starting to get up there in age where he's not been able to stay healthy. So all those are possible factors moving forward. And then you have to deal with Ben Simmons and his mental health issue. We don't know if this team is ever going to come whole, fully healthy to compete and contend for a championship. They had a chance this year and they fell flat. I understand everything that happened with Kevin Durant being hurt, Kyrie Irving going with the vaccination situation, and then James Harden wanted to be traded through a monkey wrench. But still, even with all that, just you and Kyrie should have been enough to get out the first round. That's what I think, because there's no excuse. You as the best player in basketball should not just lose, but got swept. On top of that, you guys lost 4 games. You guys are the only team in playoffs to lose 4-0. Even Jokic, without his 2 best players against the Golden State Warriors, was able to get a win. Even the Atlanta Hawks, go up against the 1-seed Miami Heat team, was able to get a win. You tell me you guys could have not gotten at least 1 win? 1. And that was the most shameful part about it. The piss poor play from Kevin Durant. They couldn't guard a statue. Nobody was playing defense. Poor offensive execution, and that falls on the head coach. And then poor leadership from Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant is one of my favorite players that I love to watch. But I had to make this video because this guy he played bad, and I can't ignore that. I had to call it out. It is what it is. But those are my thoughts and opinions on the matter. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. This is Ito Speaks out.